Yeah.
Well, I've
There's
only
a
done it
way
a
to
couple of,
like program it on and then join it somehow. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I do all that through StreamYard, which is what I use for my recording software. It like lets
Yeah.
you figure all that, like you can premiere it and all that kind of stuff.
Which I might give in and get that, but I don't really like it. So, okay. So let's see if we're live.
Oh, okay, let's
I
pull up the
always do that. I'm always talking, and then people are like, hello.
hello. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up your
It's
channel
weird.
here.
Yeah, let's see. See that we're live. Talking.
No, we are.
Okay. Yay. All right. Let me see if I can find myself. And then I'm going to put your hi, everybody. And
Hi,
just so you
I
guys,
can,
as usual, this is Tara.
hi
And I'm going
everyone. I can see it on my phone.
to, okay.
Ellen says you are live and Nikki said you're live. So thanks, guys.
Yes, thank you. I'm always doing that. It's funny. My lives
Amanda
are pretty
says
funny.
hello from Arizona.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to put Tara's channel in here so you guys can go subscribe. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so we're looking for questions today, you guys. And there's a lot going on. So we would love to hear what's going on with you guys and what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi,
So,
everyone.
yeah, it looks like everybody's doing pretty good today.
Hello from West Virginia. Hi, Nancy. Hi,
So let's
Sherry.
share this to the channel on Telegram.
Oh, Tug of Light. I love you. You were on my last live. You said, I'm going to be driving, so just listening from Asheville, North Carolina. We appreciate that. Thank you for the support.
Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Um, yeah, maybe we'll just start with the energies. How are the energies affecting you? It's been very wild the last few days.
Yeah, for me anyway, I had actually got a little bit of a cold like about a week ago, right after we did our live, in fact. Of course, I went to a children's birthday party, so I can't blame too many other people for that. But I noticed it was one of those colds where you wake up in the middle of the night and you have that like it almost feels like you're swallowing glass. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's like you can't even swallow because you just notice like that soreness. So I had this epiphany, just this moment of awareness that I needed to channel some light directly down through my crown chakra. I let it circulate through my body. I had it land right at my throat. And then what I did was grab the energy and I threw it 3 times. I grabbed it and I threw it away from my throat. And I was laying in bed. So I threw it up to the ceiling. And when you do that, I said transmute, 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 because you don't want to throw negative energy out there because it's going to hit someone else and you don't want to throw that at anybody else. So I will say, right after that happened, I felt so much more better. Like my throat, I was able to swallow. I didn't have that glass feeling going on. And then
mhm.
I did get I had a little bit of a sore throat for like the next day or two, but it for sure lasted much shorter than what it would have been. I feel like what I got would have probably lasted 2 weeks, and it just completely reduced the amount of time that I was suffering.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds a little like a purge and almost like a shadow as well.
Yeah,
So
that's what it felt like.
those shadows, they're so
Hmm.
crazy. They've been so crazy lately. Um,
Definitely.
okay. So
Sorry, guys, if I'm
a lot of
I'm
people
looking
are
down.
wondering if about their relationships lately.
Mm.
And Kimberly's wondering about hers. Will your relationship with your youngest son be resolved soon? Feels like he's going through an evolution. It might take him a little while. Yeah. It will be resolved. Yeah,
Well, that's
something
good to
big
hear.
is coming, I would
Definitely.
say. Yeah. So, have you been watching the UFO stuff?
Have I been watching it? Yes. I
Yeah.
mean, I pick up as much as I can here and there. and I try to follow along the best I can. What's the latest news that you have going on?
Well, it's just so funny because they keep talking about the UFOs or the UAPs in the ocean.
Yes, that has been
And
coming up a
I'm
lot.
like, yeah, they've been there, but
Right.
I feel like we're close to a bigger ET disclosure, and it
Yeah.
will be a good one because we're on a really good timeline right now, and fourth density is kind of peeling away. So the parallels are separating again, which is really good
Yeah. Yeah,
because
it
they've been
feels like
rough.
that to me too.
Mhm.
Has it felt to you at all like certain people are maybe separating out of your life? Like you kind of feel like that divide is taking place a little bit more?
Mhm. And that's a big part of ascension. It's like, okay, well, I'm ascending, but I'm not going to ascend as quickly or in the same way that you do, so I need to go over
Right.
here instead. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of that happens.
Hmm.
Especially in these times when we have these big like shakeups, which is what we're having right now. Um, and if they're family, usually you just get a higher version of that person after a while. But sometimes there's time apart that happens. There's been a lot of drama with people just in general.
Yeah. Yeah, because I
Um,
had somebody ask me about that recently, and they said, well, if I'm on a different timeline than a loved one in my family or a good friend, how does that work? Do they just completely fall out of my life, or, where will we reconnect again? So that makes sense that you might get a different version of them.
yeah, a lot of times you just get a higher version, and because you're usually like going up, and it's kind of a spiral staircase that we go up.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it's kind of interesting how it goes, but it's painful as it happens because
Hmm.
we're so attached. But if you relax and you just hold space for them, it resolves faster because we've really learned how to be conditional. And if
Yeah.
you just love them and don't expect anything, usually it resolves itself faster.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So, hello to Amelia. Um, Hi everybody. Wow, so many people.
I know. Middle of the afternoon on a Thursday. Are you guys not working today?
A lot of people are retired, which is awesome.
I'm
There
jealous.
are many bases underwater. Yes. So, are we still going to have like this massive disclosure event? This is a great question.
Yeah.
No. So at the moment I'm getting no. And it won't be as dramatic as we've always been thinking. That doesn't mean it's not going to be a big event, but to me it looks like they're spreading that out. So Elon 2.0 and Vivek, I think I never pronounce his name right. They're going to be doing a show together,
Oh.
which means they're going to be disclosing things, and that'll be swampy things that they disclose.
Mm.
And I don't think that everything's going to get disclosed in the same way that we've always been thinking. And I also don't know if we're going to have much of a shutdown either.
I was going to ask about that. If you felt like the EBS was going to be activated during that time.
Feels like it'll still probably happen, but it won't necessarily mean that everybody has to stay home.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
we'll just have to see how it goes because as fourth density peels away, there's no reason to have that much chaos,
Right.
and everything will still be exposed and the abundance will still come in.
Hmm.
But it will just be different than what we thought. So let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
It feels better to me.
What do you think about JFK Jr. coming back into the picture? There's always been talk of that possibly happening. And there's also talk of what would happen if something was to happen to Trump. Would Vance step up and take place, or do you think JFK Jr. would step into the picture? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like Trump is very safe.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of conjecture about that, probably because of The Simpsons and all
Hmm.
their MK and the Ultra stuff.
Right.
Um, but I feel like he's very safe and not to put energy into that narrative.
Hmm.
However, when you said JFK Jr., I got that he was coming back.
Oh,
So, and you want to
that's
always check
exciting.
in on that stuff. Yeah, check in on it daily because we have so many like switches happening.
Yeah.
Feels really good for him still to come back.
Oh, oh, that's great. Don't you feel like that would create some cognitive dissonance though? I mean, if he showed up after being dead for such a long time, people would just be like, "Wait, what's happening? I don't understand."
Well, I feel like several will come back. So it'll be like, okay, so now that the swamp is going, we're going to allow people to filter back in. And they'll probably start to talk about it. Like, we had a witness protection program for people that did not want to go along with the swamp.
Okay.
And they'll filter back in. Who comes in first? I don't know because
Hmm.
that's changing a lot. But before I saw the Simpsons movie, I saw a big like screen that was in the sky. And I saw two ETs and I saw Trump and I saw JFK Jr. and I saw Michael Jackson. So like, and there was a whole crowd of people behind them, but they were all there and there was like speeches going on. They were talking to people. So they projected that onto the hologram.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens. And then in the Simpsons movie, they showed that
Yeah,
thing
they
similar.
did. That's
Yeah,
right. And I remember you saying that when we did our interview as well.
yeah, it was fun.
Hmm.
So Charlene is asking if she should sign a new lease. I get yes, but you're probably not going to be living there anyway for very long.
Uh-oh.
So you'll have something better coming. There are so many questions coming in now. It's crazy.
I know. It's
Um,
everyone's lined up.
yeah. So really taking care of your nervous system is super important right now. Um, as 4D has peeled away, they almost had like claws in us
Hmm.
because they didn't want to go and heal.
Yeah,
So
a desperate attempt.
yeah, it was desperate. Yeah. So
Michelle is asking a question. Is it possible to cut cords or contact with myself to stop my sciatic nerve pain, and how?
I would cut cords with the shadow that is sitting on it
Mm.
and send that shadow into the astral plane. So ask your angels to do it for you, but you cut the cords. That's what I'm getting.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Um, should you get passports? I don't know how soon all the passport stuff and everything's going to go away. I mean, there's a lot of factors there. So I would, if
Yeah.
you want to go on a vacation soon, I would. Yeah. Oh, so Kyra has not been able to see the moon,
Oh,
which is crazy because I've been seeing it so bright.
it's so bright. Like I actually noticed it the other night, and I was sitting in my living room and I'm like, what is that bright light out there? And I looked out the window. I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, that's the moon. Like it was so bright because we've had the full moon recently, right? So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, that's interesting.
that is interesting. I mean, unless she lives on another continent, she is seeing it during the day. So the whole thing about like the way the sky works and um, what we're going to see in the future is going to be quite a bit different as the hologram goes, as we don't
Hmm.
need it anymore. We're going to see something different. We're going to see more suns, less intense suns. The sun we have now is so intense, and the Schumann resonance, like, it's pushing through all this energy, and you can feel it. Like, you're like, oh, today's a great purge day, or today's this kind of day, or,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. You're in California on the
I'm in
coast?
California. Yep, I'm in California, Southern California. And it's interesting that you said that about the sun because I've noticed there's been a lot more solar activity lately as well, and bigger solar flares also. I watch a channel that has cosmic weather, and it's interesting how they talk about like the plasma that's being ejected from the sun right now.
Yeah.
And you can feel it. You can feel the energetic response in the body when there's a large solar flare like that takes place.
hmm It's really interesting how all the stories get constructed to me, because you have the Schumann resonance, and it's called something else in Europe. I
Oh,
can't remember.
I didn't
Yeah,
realize that.
it's solar activity. It's the same thing, but it's called something else. M
Oh,
class. We had an
yes.
M class
M-class
flare.
flare.
Yeah. So that's different. But then also people have taken pictures of the sun, and if you get it right, it looks like a honeycomb situation.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. So the pictures of the sun that are coming from like NASA, what is that really? You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
there's so many funny things, and it's like, okay, well, feels intense today, and then you just
Yeah.
kind of go on with it. But the Schumann resonance is really showing us what's happening.
Right.
So regardless of how the energy gets to us, it's getting to us, and it's big.
It
Yeah.
is, but it's good. It's a good thing. We need to actually be out in the sun. We're not getting enough vitamin D in our systems.
Mhm.
And, there's talk of staying out of the sun because it causes, cancer and I mean these are all things that we've been told that are not necessarily the truth, right?
Right. Yeah. I remember my brother saying to me the other, I don't know, it's probably been like 4 or 5 years ago, and he goes, I think that the sunscreen is what's bad for the big C.
Yeah,
And I said, oh, really? And I always get like the natural stuff from the health food store.
sure.
And then I started thinking about it, and then I quit wearing sunglasses. And all of a sudden, I didn't burn anymore, because then your
Hmm.
body knows how much sun is actually coming at you,
Right.
and you don't burn. But I think he was very intuitive about that,
Yeah,
because that is where all those chemicals are. Also,
absolutely.
seed oils are really, really bad for that.
Yeah, I've heard that recently as well. And I mean, the
Mhm,
skin is the largest organ on the body, so it makes sense that, you want to be careful what you put on there because it absorbs directly into your system.
mhm. Absolutely. So, all of us have attachments. There's a question about negative attachments. So, you need to break them every day, especially right now when we're in like this wild period. It feels better today than it did yesterday.
Yeah, it's a little more calm energy.
Yeah. Um, but you want to just break them every day. So just imagine it like going over your field and breaking all the cords.
Yeah, that's a good habit to get into doing that daily.
hmm And ask for all your shadows to go every day. especially until we let go completely of this fourth density parallel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yannicka said, "Hi, saw lots of chemtrails over Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado today." It's so funny because chemtrails has been coming up as a topic a lot lately. It came up recently in another conversation I just had, and it's becoming more prevalent, I feel like, or maybe we're just more aware of it. I'm noticing a lot more these days.
Yeah. As the parallels got squashed together again, they showed up again. And
Hmm.
then there's this, I can't remember her name, but she's got a beautiful voice and she sings about them.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
know about
So
that.
she puts them in her song. I want to say her name is Alana something. I can't remember,
That's
but
so interesting.
yeah. So, and she's pretty popular. So
Okay.
people are getting more and more aware.
Yeah.
When will the abundance come in? So this
Yeah, we
question
all want to know that.
everybody wants to know.
Can you give us
So
the exact date and time, please?
yeah, we can't do that because then it'll switch.
That's true.
But as the fourth density goes, which feels like it's pretty far along right now, that
Yeah.
peel away. So just imagine it's peeling away part of the onion. As that peels away, it's peeling away the resistance. So
Mm.
we're quite close to all that.
Well, that's
And
exciting.
yeah, relaxing about it is important.
Yes. Yes, that's a big part of it.
Mhm. Okay. So, is there anything that you've been thinking about a lot lately, Tara?
Gosh. I'm in the process of starting a new business. So that's been on my mind. And I think you and I have talked about this before. Just the new level of creativity that we are going to be tapping into as we move forward. I
Mhm.
have felt that energy come online much more for me lately. The creative aspect of like, and also just letting go, just like allowing myself to go down that road, because a lot
Yeah.
of times we hold ourselves back, we limit ourselves with, oh, but I can't do it for this reason or that reason. We come up with all the excuses. And lately, I've just let it all go. And I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? These are things I want to do, and I'm allowed to do them. I'm a sovereign being. I get to make decisions for myself and who I am and what I want in my life. And so I'm starting to step into that power, which I feel like for a very long time I was afraid of. I
Mhm.
wasn't really prepared and ready for that. And it's just now that I'm like feeling confident enough to step forward into that power. So that's kind of new
That's,
for me. Like that's the new step I'm moving forward into.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And just like intuitively talking to your business is something you can do and asking as you take the next steps. Like, do you want me to do this? Is it too soon? Should
Hmm.
I get this website host or this website host?
That's
Like,
exactly what I'm
yeah.
thinking about.
Mhm.
And what's interesting is when you make these decisions, what comes up is a lot of fear, number one. So you have to tackle that fear and just kind of ask yourself the questions of like, well, this is interesting, and be aware of it, right? And just ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? And is it true? Is that fear true for myself? Or is that really my ego mind that's just making excuses to try to protect me from moving into an area that is unknown? So that has been something I've had to put a lot of energy into, is just focusing on like, uncovering what those fears might be and really diminishing them and creating more of a neutral place to operate from, as opposed to coming from a fear-based location, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a really big deal, I think, when it comes to trying out new things and then stepping into your power.
Mhm. It's huge. And we've had so much programming about
Hmm.
keeping small.
Right.
And I have programs for this on my website, but there's no reason for you to be small. You're like a spark of God
That's
and
right.
you're experiencing yourself, and everybody's doing that.
Hmm.
So why not enjoy it? Like we're going into a time where we're going to know who we are, we're going to have fun. Enjoy it now. Let
Right.
go of all there's a lot of shoulds and a lot of hurry, hurry, hurry. energy,
Yes.
and we're not going to be doing that anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the other thing too that comes up when you make these decisions for yourself is the universe has a way of testing you with
Mhm.
the decision you've just made. So you finally make the decision. Great, I'm going to go for it. And the next thing you know, the universe dangles the carrot. Well, are you sure you really want to do that? Over here is the other thing that you've been doing, and we can make it better. And that's so funny because I've been having a lot of that coming up for me where all of a sudden I get an email out of nowhere saying, "Hey, here's the job opportunity that you've been wanting." And I have a decision to make. Do I want to continue down that path that I've been on that I've obviously decided is not really right for me, or do I want to take this new path? And so you really have to think for yourself, like what is best for you. And as you always say, tap into your higher self for that information. But
Mhm.
it is always going to come up as a little bit of a test to make sure, do you really want to stay on this path over here?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's also what's happened with this parallel split is fourth density is so volatile that it's created a lot of drama. Like I uploaded a video today for people to watch on a website. They couldn't access it. So then I put it on Vimeo. And then not everybody has a Vimeo account. So then I put it on Google Drive. So it's like there's a lot of weird little obstacles coming up. A lot of them are with tech,
Mm,
but they have to do with the chaos of fourth density leaving our realm. It's like there's tendrils and claws, and there's parts of fourth density in our own body too.
mm,
So programming of chaos, like maybe you used to be somebody who loved to watch a soap opera,
right.
or you love to watch like a action movie and see all the chaos that goes on in that. And I love that, right? I like to watch all the Marvel movies because there's so
Hmm.
much disclosure and all this stuff, but there's also a lot of chaos. The chaos is fourth density.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So we're letting go of it, and it's such an interesting thing because it's like all the sludge comes up to the top
Right.
right when you're ready to let it go. And it's just like when you're manifesting, the biggest
Mm,
obstacles show up right before you're ready to achieve the thing that you wanted.
right. Right. So you
Mhm.
can't just let that hold you back. You have to keep moving forward so that you can achieve that goal because that is always going to come up for you.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So Eliza has an amazing question. Honey, my ancestors, Kennedys, left um, Ayr, Scotland in 1760s to Londonderry, Ireland. Did they leave because of the mud flood?
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah, it had to do with mud flood stuff.
That's incredible.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah. The time doesn't feel right to me. Feels a little like 1760s doesn't feel like when the mud flood actually happened, but they probably didn't know what time it was during that event.
Hmm.
I got it was like in the 1797 kind of area. But
Right.
yeah, that's why they left.
Wow.
So fun. Um, so bifurcation is a big topic right now.
Hmm.
So 3D Earth has already been on its own for a while, and 4D. So when you think about 4D, that's where a lot of like the not so nice ETs lived. Um, chaos lives, control from people that knew things that we didn't,
Hmm.
so those are 4D things. I don't feel like they're going to go to a planet. They're
Hmm.
basically just peeling off. And what they do will be up to them, whether they have a realm that they're going to be in for a while before they go heal, maybe. A lot of them already went to get healed, so there's not nearly as many 4D, and this is density,
Yeah.
fourth density beings as there used to be. But we definitely experienced some of them while everybody was sandwiched,
Hmm.
and that was challenging.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're like, I thought this was over.
Right? Why are you
Yeah,
here?
yeah. How come there's that hurricane happening?
Right. Don't you belong on another Earth?
Yeah. Can't you go away now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all those unseen beings are the ones that are going. So if you had a shadow that was part of the naughty group, that was kind of chaotic, then you may have shadows that need to be healed. So just keep sending everybody, okay, bye. Time to go. Time to go
Yep.
heal. Yeah. Every day for the next few days for sure.
Yeah.
So let's see what else is going on in here. Did the
So it
mud flood
looks,
only happen in the Western world? No, worldwide.
so is that supposed to be like the Great Flood? Like in general, is that in reference to that, or is that something different?
No, so I think the Great Flood happened when Atlantis fell.
Yeah.
And then right before, so there was this period of time, and I think it was like 1750 is what I got before, but it was right around when, what was that called? The Declaration of Independence happened.
Okay.
So when that happened, the good guys kind of won and they took over this corral that we've been in.
Hmm.
And then the not so nice guys decided to do a mud flood, but it was more like a liquefaction event.
Hmm.
So they actually liquefied the soil with a frequency and everything
Wow.
sank. Yeah,
So that would actually explain why there's so much in Egypt, like with the pyramids that is under all of this sand and they can't figure out what happened. And that's nowhere near water.
right. And the Tartarian buildings that the first story is underground. There's so
Right.
many of these buildings that the first and sometimes more is underground.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So,
incredible.
and I got that the Greys were quite unhappy about it because
Hmm.
it didn't suck everything down further. But I think
Oh,
it got rid of a lot of the population, because they were probably on ground level.
right.
And then they had, and I want to be kind of careful when I say this, but they had World's Fairs and they had incubator babies. So they repopulated by 1850 is what I always received, right around 1850.
It's so crazy that you just brought up World's Fairs because I had a guest recently that we were literally just talking about this earlier today. Like this was part of the conversation. And like she was kind of explaining that she didn't feel like the World's Fairs were really represented adequately the way that they didn't it didn't happen the way it's represented in the history books. And they actually were more, there was more meaning behind the World's Fairs than what we're being led to believe.
Hmm. I think they were a disclosure event and
Yes.
they were showing everybody this is what you're capable of, and now we're going to destroy it
Wow.
because they went back and destroyed all those buildings.
That's right. There were fires
Yeah.
everywhere. They burned them
Mhm.
all down.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable stuff
Yeah.
has happened. Um, there is going to be another big fair, and I want to say it's in Iowa, and it's Mr. T, and he said it's going to be there for a year. So it's
Wow.
going to be all the new tech coming in. I want to say they're going to start it in May. So is that Labor Day or is that,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So is that next year or when is that
yeah,
supposed to be?
next year.
Really?
So all the way through 2026, through a lot of 2026. So it's going to be
Wow.
basically like the celebration of the 250-year-old America. But this
Wow.
is bringing back all the tech. That's what I keep getting
That
about.
sounds really cool. We
Yeah,
should go and do an episode from there live.
yeah, I want to definitely go. I want to meet a lot of people. I mean, it's going to be so much fun. And I think a
Yeah.
lot of the Jetson type technology will come back in at that point.
Yes, that sounds exciting. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I want to definitely go to that.
Hmm. So we'll all meet in Iowa.
That's right. I've always wanted to go on vacation in Iowa.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Um, yeah, there's only one original building left standing in Chicago's World Fair area.
Mm,
And there's been a lot of talk about Göbekli Tepe
yes,
recently, and I feel like that is about to come out more too. It feels like it was around the Atlantis time, or maybe it was there like after they kind of fell apart.
right.
They went out and did, a new civilization.
Hmm.
But there's stuff in America and stuff in Turkey. Like it's all over.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's going to be exciting.
Yeah. There are ancient sites everywhere. I've been to a couple in Ireland, and you can be there during summer solstice, but you have to get a ticket. It's like a lottery ticket to get inside because
Oh,
there's something about how the light comes through one of the chambers and it hits the back of the wall inside of this sort of like stone hut. And it's very small, very narrow inside. And people will pay lots of money to be there on that specific day because obviously there's a lot of energy that's coming through there.
right. That's cool. Yeah, I feel like we're going to see a lot more ancient sites get uncovered.
Yeah.
A lot of them are in the national parks. A
Mm.
lot of them are buried kind of in the forests too. Like Mexico is a great example of that
Right.
because there's whole civilizations that have been like covered up by
Right.
the trees and the vegetation and the Amazon as
Hmm.
well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's a whole section of California, the California coastline. I was just watching a video about this the other day. I want to say like north of Sacramento and all the way up to like the Oregon border. There's like literally like a swath of land that nobody lives on. It's just completely like this desolate area. And I found that interesting. And there's no real good reason why that would be left kind of untouched and not civilized.
Yeah, there's something hiding underground there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think
So
so.
that's interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, so Serena is asking, can you give me confirmation as to whether or not I was able to release the shadows that I had last week? Yes, I get. But
That's great.
don't be satisfied if you've gotten rid of a few. Keep getting rid of them right now. Like I had one, I was in the middle of a conversation and I could feel it and it was bugging me. And I was like, go. So the reason that they're bothering us is it's time for them to heal. And if
Mm,
you've chosen to be the main person that is ascending, the main fractal of your oversoul, then all the other fractals are going to come to you to be sent home.
right.
Yeah. Um, can you tell me if I'll be living with my oldest next year? This is from Sunny. I get they'll be nearby, but not in the same house. So maybe some sort of arrangement is going to be made where they're very close. And I do feel like you'll have them part of the time. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keep tuning into your stuff, you guys, too. Because as the timelines go up and up and up, then our lives are going to get easier and more fun. And we're going to have more of what we're asking for. And that includes relationship stuff.
Suzanne has a question. Did the Tartaria era overlap with Native Americans? Did they interact? I thought that was a really nice question.
Yeah, it did. They did. And I feel like the Native Americans, and all the natives, they were aware of like the magic. They were living a little more simply,
Yeah.
but they weren't living as simply as a lot of these people say. So a lot of those places that are abandoned, like Gobekli Tepe,
Hmm.
that are similar to that, they could be native places.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Um, and they definitely crossed paths. And I think it was much more congenial in the past in a lot of ways. I mean, we've
Yeah.
gone through several crazy times, but
Right.
most of the time it was better. Um, so we go down to the seven veils, the seven planets, the seven chakras, the 7 days. We live in a bubble. No need to cry.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything is a fractal of something else. So there was a great like documentary that I saw a long time ago, and I think it was something about intelligent design.
Okay.
And our universe has been intelligently designed.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is repeating patterns. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are really kind of wild with their energy in different families, and Sandy's talking about that.
I think
Uh,
I'm behind you in your in the chat.
oh, okay. Yeah, so she has a sister and she feels like she's talking to AI when she talks to her.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you've definitely got a lower version
Yeah.
of your sister. So if you really want to rekindle that relationship, ask for a higher version to show up and see what happens.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, look for Alice is asking, am I ready to meet my future partner? I'm getting yes.
Oh, that's exciting, Alice.
Ah, that's fun. A lot of us are taking on ancestral pain.
Mm.
Make sure you clear those contracts. That's important. So that was for Laura. We don't need to carry anybody else's stuff anymore.
Mm.
So my inner child, if she feels a shadow, she's like, go. She has no patience anymore. She's like, I'm done.
That's funny.
So, she deals better with her ancestors because my soul is like, that's the shadows are coming from that.
Hmm.
And the soul is like, their shadows are big. They're old, they're big, and they will try and trick you, but she sees them now and she's just like, go. I'm
Oh,
not
that's funny.
interested in your stuff. Yeah. So I don't feel like
I
it's hard. It doesn't have to be hard.
Eliza, I thought had a really good question. Honey, will mosquitoes go away permanently? I sure hope so because they are just annoying.
Yes.
There's no way around that.
Yeah. And that's kind of too, we have to remember how much attention are we paying to those things
Mm.
because they were created not for our benefit. So, like mosquitoes and flies and things that we just don't like, the bot fly, the tick, those
Yeah.
are yucky We don't need them.
Well, if you think
Parents.
about it, they're bloodsuckers.
Hmm. Yeah,
So that's interesting.
very. Somebody's asking how everybody's power is working. We've had a lot of weird power issues off and on.
Oh, really?
Because we're on solar. So you have to think like you create your reality. So every
Hmm.
time you go into a higher version of yourself, all your stuff has to like be upgraded as well.
Adjust. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't work. So we've replaced several batteries.
Hmm.
Yeah, just lots of interesting stuff. We had one time where there was this boom and a lot of car batteries went out because my husband's like an old car collector, old jalopies. And a lot of those batteries like died during that moment. And
Oh,
then some
wow.
solar went out too. Yeah,
That's interesting. I haven't had those problems, thankfully.
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kathy wants to know if her mom will live through the big C again.
Hmm.
She's deciding.
Mm.
So it's up to your mom what she chooses to do. She hasn't decided yet. Um, just hold space for her. Either way, you'll still be in contact with her.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody that feels like they don't know whether they're going to exit or not, realize that they're eternal and that you'll be able to be in touch with their consciousness very soon. And then also allow them to do what's best for them, but hold space for them to stay if it's not too uncomfortable. Like some
Hmm.
people, it's so hard for them. Like there's so much work that has to be done for them to keep
Yeah.
up.
Barbara has a question. Barbara from Minnesota. I've been awake for years, but never feel changes, and I can't speak to my soul or my higher self. Am I going to make the ascension, or am I actually still asleep?
You're not asleep. There's some kind of activation that your soul is waiting for. So your soul will activate a lot of your gifts when it's the right time. And
Hmm.
to me, it feels like when it's like more when it's easier to have all those gifts. One of
Yeah.
them's very big.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm seeing like energy, like
wow.
almost like laser energy. So it's very big and it will take some work to control it, it feels like, and you're
Hmm.
going to need more support.
But that's exciting.
Yeah.
And I think if you're aware enough to ask the question, it means that you're awake, right? That's just
Oh, yeah.
in and of asking the question.
If you're watching this, like you're hanging out with awake people, then you're awake.
Yeah.
If you are like not interested in hanging out with boring conversations, is what I would say, then then you're awake. Like you just don't tolerate that. So
Right.
not having your gifts yet, there's a reason for that.
Right. Timing is everything.
Hmm. Yeah. So somebody's seeing 1111 all the time, um, which
I've been
is,
getting that lately too.
yeah, we're really close to a lot of change right
Yeah.
now. So it's really exciting.
Yeah,
Uh,
you can feel it.
mhm. You can really feel it. Yeah, a lot of travel and everything. So people are asking, will I go home for the holidays? Will I be able to deal with my family soon? Everything is kind of in flux.
Yeah.
So a lot of us are going to have a much more beautiful December than we do November. November has been quite wild. And I noticed the time kind of slowed down.
Yes, it
Yeah,
did. November seems like it's like a transitory month.
yeah. It feels
Everything just
really,
seems in transition this month.
hmm It's intense. And I'm glad that Thanksgiving's at the end of the month,
Yeah.
honestly, because I don't know if we would have it together to actually travel until next week anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Tracy has a question. I walk every day in the forest and have left an offering of stones in a shelf in a tree. Yesterday they were gone. Can you see where they went?
they went to a ferry.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like a fairy that's incarnated in a human, but she really needed them. So
Oh.
that's going to be really beautiful for that person. It will probably activate her.
Oh, that's so
Great.
nice.
hmm Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, time has really slowed down.
Yeah.
How does one figure out what is blocking from gifts? You want to just keep clearing programming
Mm. Yeah.
and then also be willing to wait if it's not the right time for you. Maybe your gifts are like really outrageous and you need help from people who have other gifts to be able to handle your gift,
Mm.
you
And I
know?
think trusting yourself too, because that's another piece that I feel like, and I'm speaking for myself, I have things come up and then I second guess myself. But is that real? Am I really okay, good with that? Can I do that? Trusting whatever comes to you and whatever's in your highest desire, whatever's in your heart, trusting that that's what's for you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a beautiful answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the person that you want, Maggie's asking, will Thanksgiving be lonely for her?
Hmm.
The person that you want to love the most, take care of the most, is yourself. So if you're doing that, you won't be lonely no matter what.
Hmm.
But I don't feel like it will be. So just be kind of open.
And if you have to, make yourself a nice dinner. You don't have to be with people. You can go. I've done that before because I live far from my family and I've been alone on Christmas and I went and bought myself a whole turkey dinner. I
Yeah.
made all the fixings and I did it for myself and I was very happy and pleased with it and it was great and I enjoyed it. And I had me and at the time I had little dogs and now it'll be cats. But no, do it for yourself. You don't have to do anything to please anyone else and just make yourself happy. Do something special that day. Either go for a walk, maybe get a massage, like do something for you and just enjoy the day. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on yourself about it.
Mm-mm. No, and holidays are going to start to morph,
Yeah,
and I won't say that's happening this year necessarily. I think it's too much for people for that to happen this year, but by next year, what will holidays really be? They're going to
right.
start to shift because we're going to find
Absolutely.
out what they were for.
I was just going to say the meaning behind them may change. So
Mhm.
enjoy them
Yeah,
while you can.
exactly. It's like the church is being it's starting to fall a little bit and it's
Hmm.
just going to keep going. And the more that gets revealed, the less we're going to want to do the regular holidays.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep. Um, okay. So BP Zern is worried about their human body um, because it's kind of having a hard time. It's probably having a hard time because you're purging things out. So just be really
Mm.
kind to your body and don't pick on your body or talk about how old it is, either internally or externally, because you're
Hmm.
here for a reason. You're still around for a reason. Yep. Yeah, I like what L Rainbow says. Rainbow Sparkles. I love that. So
That's cute.
yeah, gifts are assimilated in waves, and that's true.
Yes.
Mhm.
I
Totally
agree with
true.
that.
Yeah. So there's just so much amazing, like energetic stuff that's going on right now. And we're
Hmm.
in one of those purge times.
Right.
But as we let go of fourth density, think about how calm and beautiful things are going to unfold,
Hmm.
you know?
Absolutely. It'll be a lot easier.
Hmm. It's going to be so much.
Valda has a question. Are there different types of being awake? I thought that was a really great question because, and I'll answer for myself. I feel like my journey has been a long journey. It's been going on since I was young. And I feel like for me, it's like a moment of awakening and then kind of going back to sleep for a little while and then awake and then asleep. And it's been like that off and on until the last 10 years, it's been more awake than not. And I would say in the last 5 years, it's been like pretty much awake the whole time.
Mhm.
But and it's like getting more and more so. Like I look at it from the perspective of I learn something that opens the door to something new, and it just keeps going down that path that way. Like the more I learn, the more I'm exposed to more information. So that awakening process is a constant, gradual process over time for me, and that's just how it's been for me in my life.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And also, you don't have to know about all the yucky stuff to be awake.
Right.
And that's really true for younger people
Mm-hmm.
because they're not here for the yucky junk
Right.
that we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
They're here to create the new. And we're going to be learning from them. And then we're going to start to do more and more of, we're like here to create the foundation for them.
Right.
We were the warriors that came in and the healers that came in to hold space for them so they'd be safe when they came in.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. And if they're only awake because they know that 100% cotton organic clothing is better than, you know, like synthetics, great.
Right.
Doesn't matter what it is that wakes them up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, 555 people in here. I love that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So the night sky is brighter now. Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Did you see all that purple down in Florida? Did you see the pictures of that?
I did online. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is like, that was a big glimpse into the real night sky.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah. It's going to be more purple, more twilighty
Yeah.
for a lot of the day. It'll be bright for part of the day. The days are going to be longer.
I love that.
Time zones won't exist. I'm so excited.
I never understood that, to be honest. I mean, I guess I understood from the farming perspective, which is what it was created for, but we've kind of gotten past all that,
Yeah.
with where we are in life, so we don't really need it for that reason. It just confuses things, I think.
Oh, it's so hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got somebody you're talking to and they're so far away and it's like 8 hours different.
And then you've got Arizona that decides to be on a different time zone half the year.
Mhm. Yeah, it's crazy. So, um,
Let's see.
yeah, everybody go subscribe to Tara's channel, please.
Thank
Let me
you.
see if I can put it in there again if I still have it copied. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah, it's hard to be the only one that's awake in your family. I
Yeah,
totally
it
agree with
is.
that. Um,
You do have to find your tribe. So if you find that that's the case, find the people that you can have your conversations with about this. And if that's just here online with us, then that's okay. Eventually more and more people will become available to you to have these conversations, but it is important to find your tribe somewhere.
it is, yeah. And allow them to come in too.
Yeah,
Don't think I'm all alone forever. Like, don't talk to yourself like that because then you're creating more of it.
right.
Um, yeah. So borders will just go away. We will be Earth. We are from Earth.
That's right.
Yeah. So that will start to shift, and Space Force will start to be like probably the biggest company. And I don't really want to call it a company, but it's going to be the biggest thing that actually exists as one unit, because all the other corporations are going to just kind of,
Hmm.
yeah, there's not going to be any big corporations in the future.
Right.
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
my dad is like in his 80s, and he's now starting to, I'd say, age backwards a little bit.
Wow. Good for
So,
him.
yeah, it's been rough. Like he hasn't had a great time with it, but he's really doing good.
Yeah. My
Yeah.
dad will be actually be 81 this Sunday. And he has dementia.
Oh,
However, we found a new facility that we could have him stay in like probably about 6 months ago, and he has improved tremendously since we have found the new location. I mean, he went from being wheelchair bound to walking on his own without a wheelchair any longer. So
wow.
I'm hoping that cognitively we can kind of reverse what's going on there as well. But I always say, as long as he's happy, he's safe, and he's healthy, he's being cared for properly, that's the main thing, you know. The rest, we have to leave it up to God. We can't really control anything else. But as long as we provide the right environment for him to be safe and flourish the way he can, that's the most important thing.
Mhm. Yeah, and there are a lot of ways to rewind that. I've noticed one of my parents was really doing rough with that. And it's like such a massive change has happened over the last year.
That's
And it
great.
does take longer for the brain to heal.
Hmm.
So as you're doing things for it, give it time.
Yeah,
Don't get disappointed because it didn't just heal right away. It takes longer.
right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Um, yeah, it looks like everybody's just talking and stuff. I don't see any big. Oh,
Um,
Sally wants to know, did she see a fairy on the way to work? Yes.
that's exciting.
Yeah. I can almost feel like the sparkle that she wanted to display, the fairy did. Like it's like
Oh.
wanted to just go bing, but she was a little more subdued, feels like.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, so fun.
Kathy is asking, can you please tell me if my daughter Shannon is taking on all my mother's health issues?
Yes.
Uh-oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
something to
one
watch
thing
out
you
for.
can do is you can go in and break all those agreements with your mother and her genetic line, and that will start to break them for your daughter because you are direct line and then she comes from you. So you are
Hmm.
allowed to do that if it's from your mom. So I would
Yeah.
go do that. Sunny wants to know, did I truly have an NDE? Um, the accident, yes. Meditation,
Well,
it feels like a transcendental like experience. Like you left your body, but your body was okay, you know. Um,
hmm.
oh, so Tug of Light is creating an app. Oh, am I
That's
supposed to
exciting.
create an app? Yes.
That's so
That is a
great.
beautiful idea. Yeah.
I love that.
Hmm. You can find your tribe in your local area.
Hmm. Such a smart thing to do. I mean, we need
Mhm.
that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there's not going to be as many people as we go through this process because the NPC people, especially holographic,
Hmm.
they're going to start disappearing.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So,
There's too many of them on the road.
yeah, I always tell them to go home.
Exactly.
Um, so Colleen wants to know, are her kids going to work with her on the humanitarian projects? I get some, not
Hmm.
everybody's going to be on board, but they'll still be around, feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had one here. Where did it go? Let's see. Oh, Sharon is asking, I have been sick for 45 years. Advice, please.
Ooh,
That's a long
you have
one.
a parallel that you need to
Hmm.
break contracts with and send that parallel home. So that's a shadow version of you, and it's been affecting you for all that time.
Wow. That's a
So,
lot of suffering.
yeah, send them home, break the contracts, deal with your genetic line. Like, you need to clean all the contracts up. So, I would definitely do that. Um, so T Drum, I really need to know if the company calling me to get rid of all my credit debt is real. They say it's lawsuit money to pay them off. Yeah,
Hmm.
it doesn't feel good.
I didn't get that either. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like fourth density stuff.
Yeah.
That's going to go away anyway. That's part of the Jubilee. So I would let go of, they feel icky to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Um,
see.
yeah, a lot of people have really elderly parents and
Hmm.
they're really deciding whether they're going to be here or not right now,
Right.
you know. And don't be sad because they may come back in a new body.
Hmm.
They may still be in contact with you. Like, it's important that they're happy. So make
Right.
sure that that's the most important thing.
Right.
Yeah. So someone's asking about lesions, and I'm not a doctor. So this is Lori. I get that it's a parasitic infection. So you
Okay.
might want to look into what medicine you can use for that.
Angie is asking, would you please explain what are astral spiders?
So spiders are good and bad, just like everybody else. There were some major spiders that were really huge and really icky, fourth density
Ooh.
spiders. That's why a lot of people have fear of spiders, is because they experienced that in a past life.
Hmm.
The astro spider feels like a being that can jump. So they jump timelines, they jump through portals. And remember that a lot of the mandalas or the matrix and stuff can look like a web. So they're
Hmm.
also the builders, like they can be part of the building groups as well. And
Yeah.
not a lot of them are good. Think about spiders in real life. There's maybe two poisonous spiders that are in your state
Right.
that could be a problem, and then the rest of them are all doing good work.
And they eat flies. So they're not
Yes,
that bad.
get rid of those flies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that the straw and the man thing is coming soon.
Mm.
And they may do it in a way for the first few months that's a little different, just depending on what feels best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may be released in a different way. It might be like, here's 5,000, get back on your feet. Here's 10,000. Um, I don't know what they're going to do yet. I think they're deciding.
Well, we're all waiting for that day. So we
Yes.
can't wait for that.
Yeah, it'll be beautiful for people.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the brown recluse and the black widows are pretty intense.
Yeah.
There's a great show. I can't remember what it's called. It's something Madam Web or something.
Hmm.
If you're really curious about spiders, look that up
Hmm.
and watch that movie.
That's interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's actually really good.
It looks like Marcia. I think it's Marcia. Do you think we will be seeing and I'm assuming she's saying seeing and meeting ET very soon?
Yes,
That's
yeah,
exciting.
that's exciting. And I will say, I don't know if I've said it on YouTube yet, but someone I know that I live with, the only other person I live with, has seen one. So he saw one the other night at twilight. It was sitting on top of the garage and it was very
Really?
fat. So like I'm like, what did it look like? He's like, it was like 3 feet tall and like Jabba the Hutt. And I said, what did it want? And he said he was just curious. And
Wow.
that's the answers I got out of my husband.
And he wasn't scared at all?
No, not at all. And then when he looked back up after he looked down, it was gone.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he was seeing in the fifth density. And we, as fourth density goes, like our vibration is going to keep going up. So
Hmm.
it's going to be easier to see the ETs.
Wow. We just
Yeah.
have to look out for them.
Yeah. So Julie wants to know, do you see any good news for me to get a new job? There's something waiting for you to happen. It feels more like a project type job. Yeah, this was really fun, you guys. Um, and Stargate, yes, that is generational. You do need iodine.
Linda
Yeah.
wants to know who are the spirits my cat sees all the time. And I would like to know that too. Because my cats sit on the couch sometimes, like in the evening if we're watching TV, and like my one cat especially is just like staring off into the corner and like he looks very frightened when I'm like, what do you
So
see over there? So I don't know.
ETs. They're
Is that what
ETs.
it is?
Yeah. And they're really big. So the
Oh,
first time I knew ETs were in the house, we had a cat named Lenny who's since ran away, but
because he saw
he
the ETs.
he could see them and I was like, what do they look like? And I was chapping in with my third eye and they were
Yeah.
Lemurian ETs, probably like
Wow.
12 feet tall.
Oh my goodness. They wouldn't even fit in my house if they were that big.
Yeah, I mean, they were basically grazing the ceiling in our house. And our house is
Wow.
very small, but the ceilings are really high. So
Wow.
pretty funny. And they're very uncomfortable in these small spaces. So
I
if you
bet.
want to have an ET like meeting, ask them to meet you outside.
Oh, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easier.
I did speak to them when, because my poor cat was looking terrified. So I just said, if you can either show yourself or you can leave because this is not working out. He's freaking out
Right,
over here.
right. And I think they enjoy it a little bit, pestering the cats.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, hello.
His eyes were like enormous, like staring
Yeah,
off at it. I was like, oh, you poor thing.
yeah, cats can see so much more. And then
Yeah.
the other type of the cat ET, I can't remember, it's like gone. Lyran.
Yeah.
So the Lyran ETs, they would probably do something like that because it would be fun. And they're very amazing, right? I mean, they look like an
Oh,
amazing
yeah.
lion, but cats would not be thrilled to see them.
The humanoid looking
Yeah,
feline. Yeah. Yeah, they would probably be very confused, I would imagine.
yeah. And like, how come you're so much bigger than me? Why do you
Right.
have arms and legs like a person,
Mhm.
and the Lyrans would be like, "Hi."
I actually wonder about that. Like, would the Lyrans look favorably upon us if we have cats as pets? Like, would they kind of think like, "Oh, you're being kind to my species by like caring for it and loving it and feeding it and taking care of it?" Or would it be looked upon as like slavery? Like you're keeping my
Oh,
species as like a keeping it captive. I think I've asked you this before.
yeah, the cats actually feel like they're in charge of you. So
That's true.
The Lyrans realize the cat's position in the house. So they're actually fine with it. They don't feel weird about it at
And they
all.
would be right about that, by the way.
Yeah, they're the
The
bosses
cats,
of the house. Yeah,
yeah, oh, they definitely are. They usually tell me what to do. They're like, it's time for you to feed us. It's time for us to go to bed. I'm just
yeah,
like, okay.
yeah, they're so funny. And the whole Egyptian thing where the cats were like doted on and everything, that really never went away.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. So I feel like we're kind of there. Oh, so Colleen says I was recently told I was Lyran. Do you get this too?
Oh, that's
Yes.
a good one. That's a
Yeah.
good lineage to be from.
Yeah. They're like the rock star hairband of the universe.
That's really funny.
It's funny. Yeah. They come in, they save everybody, and then they leave, and they're like, ta-da! Yeah. That's
And they
their
have
personality.
groupies. They have little groupies that
Everybody.
follow around everywhere.
Yeah. And they're amazing, you know? So they're a lot of fun. But every time I see them, I think of like in my mind's eye, I think of the hair bands from the
That's so
80s.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Actually, somebody has a cat question. Elsa said, "Hi, this is about my cat, Missy. I'm very concerned about this very loud sound she does 2, 3, 4 times a day. Does she have something stuck in her soul?"
No, but she does have an attachment. So she probably has a shadow. Ask
Wow.
her. She is willing to let it go. So help her do it, basically.
Mm,
Yeah. Help her do that and it will feel better for her.
yeah.
Um, so I'm going to answer this one last question, and this
Okay.
can help everybody. Just if you feel like you've taken on everybody else's stuff, clear the cords off your body, and you can just say, I want them to go. Heal up your energy field. And if you don't know how to like deal with your genetic stuff or your shadows or any of that, you can ask your angels, or you can subscribe to Healing with Honey and learn how to do it. But just do that for yourself. And you have to say no, because
Mm,
being sovereign doesn't mean that you're taking care of everybody else's stuff. They have to learn how to do it.
right.
Yeah.
Good advice.
Yep. So
That's good
this
for
was
everyone.
so fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. And thank you to everyone
Yeah.
in the chat. You guys are awesome. We have 640 people online watching. That's amazing. You
Hmm.
guys are all awesome. Thank you so much for your support. And we're excited to do this. So maybe we can do it again another time.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do it again. Definitely. This was a lot of fun. So thank you guys. Thank you so much, Tara.
Thank
And
you. This was a lot
yeah,
of fun.
go subscribe to Tara's channel. She's got amazing guests, you guys. Okay.
Oh,
All right.
bye,
Thank
everyone. Have a
you.
good night.
Bye. Okay, so I have to end the meeting.